Recently, we have been given a lot of information about vehicles within Cyberpunk, and here on this channel, I have gone through a number of different videos talking about these vehicles. But one thing that I'm really interested in, and something CD Projekt Red haven't given too much information about, is the races that will be coming to Cyberpunk 2077. So in this video, I've wrapped up all the information that we know about races so far, as well as I've gone ahead and done a bit of speculation, because races is something that I'm very excited for. As always, before I do get into the video, there is links in the description down below which will take you to a number of different platforms, being Twitter, Instagram, the Discord server that we have up and running, where we answer questions as well as provide the latest news, which is so much quicker just to write a message on there than to actually do a video. There is also the Twitch channel where I do stream Monday, Wednesday and Friday, and will be going to daily streams the second that Cyberpunk comes out. So if any of that interests you, there is links in the description down below. So as just previously mentioned, I have done videos on vehicles. If you do want to see information about those before going into this video, which I do highly suggest, links to both of them will be in the description down below, as well as there'll be a card on screen right now, which will take you to the latest video. But carrying on with this video, races will be in Cyberpunk 2077. This has been confirmed by CD Projekt Red themselves on a number of different occasions, but they haven't actually given too much information to say exactly what you'll be doing in races. We can assume that you're going to go from point A to point B, maybe checkpoint to checkpoint, but they did say ages ago in a number of different interviews that Cyberpunk will be bringing races to the game, except there's going to be a slight twist, and that has intrigued a lot of people, including myself. Recently, we've been given information that there are supposed to be a number of different races in a number of different locations. So this gives us the idea that it's not just going to be one race type, and it's not always going to be within Night City. Sometimes this will also go out to the Badlands, and you'll have the option of which one you want to do, as well as what race type you want to do. We've also recently found out that vehicles belong to classes, so you want to make sure that you select the right class for the right race. The different classes are broken down to economy, executive, heavy duty, sport and hypercar. The economy cars are by far not the nicest cars, and they're definitely not the fastest within the game. These are the vehicles that you'll probably have when you first start Cyberpunk. These are your everyday cars that your average person will drive. Get you from point A to point B, but you're just not gonna get there quickly. Moving up, you then have the executive, which are slightly faster, but more than everything, they're 1,000 times nicer. These cars have your latest comforts, the latest technology, and it means that you're gonna be arriving to your destination within style. Next up, you have heavy duty. This is your trucks and tanks. Definitely not the fastest, and they definitely do not have the latest gear, but they're super strong. If you're looking for something that is completely unstoppable to break through roadblocks, then this is the class that you want to go to. Something that is a bit more of the race type, the next class is sport. This will allow you to go from point A to point B quickly, and these cars look incredibly nice. And then finally, you have your hypercars. These are very similar to the sports class, except these cars are also heavily armored. So these are the different classes, and within these classes, you'll have a number of different vehicles. And what you need to do as the player is decide which race that you want to go into, and also pick a suitable car. It's highly suggested that if you're going to be racing within Night City, you're probably going to want to go for a sport or maybe even a hypercar. If you're out in the Badlands, then you're going to want a nomad car, as it is built for that area. And this might go without saying, but depending on the location, you will see a massive difference in your car. So if you take your sports car that does work and function very well within Night City and take it out into the Badlands, it's just not going to do as well. So this is always something to bear in mind when racing. CD Projekt Red have suggested within episode 4 of the Night City wire, in these races, you're probably also going to need a gun, because anything can happen within Night City. So not only do you need to make sure that your vehicle is up to the challenge, but you also need to make sure that you have the right loadout. Through gameplay that we've seen from the trailers that they released during episode 4 of the Night City wire, I'm starting to get a vibe of death races going in and around Night City. And seeing all of this has got me very excited for racing within Cyberpunk. I think what we're gonna get is gonna be some high intensity, fast paced racing. which definitely suits what I like within games. When it comes to navigation whilst racing, we've seen 2 different ways to navigate around the Badlands and also Night City. In the trailers, we have seen arrows on the ground and we've also seen checkpoints. Both of these were shown in Cyberpunk's 2077 trailer, which is called Rise of the Dark Future. I think the arrows on the ground are for more built up areas, such as racing in the city. For the open areas such as the Badlands, it makes sense for it to be checkpoints instead that you can see off in the distance. This type of information isn't groundbreaking stuff. At this point, arrows and checkpoints are just affordances within any type of racing, no matter what the game is. But just in case you was curious about racing within Night City and you was worried with how built up it is that you might get lost, don't worry, there's a lot of things that will guide you through the race. Moving on to a bit of speculation now about racing. In the Rise of the Dark Future trailer, we do see a clip where there are 2 people in a car, one driving and one shooting. This is what I assume CD Projekt Red meant when you have to bring a gun to the racing. But I'm not actually too sure of how this is going to work out, because as there is 2 people within the car, one driving, one shooting, you can have the option of where you can switch between being the driver or being the shooter at any point throughout the race. Maybe you have the choice of being the shooter or the driver, but you can only decide at the beginning of the race, and throughout the whole of the race you have to stick to that role. Or maybe you really just don't have a choice and you end up just showing up to a location and it's either you are the driver or you are the shooter. And this time you do not choose which one you get to be. The game forces you into a situation. So I'm really interested to see how this plays out, and I do want CD Projekt Red to give us more information about this. But either way, I do like the idea of it being death races. I think it fits perfectly with the world, and as said earlier, for me as a player, it just suits what I would like to do. Analyzing a bit further of the trailer called Rise of the Dark Future, we see very early on in the trailer of cars lining up preparing to race. Now, if I'm not mistaken, that is an NCPD car in the background, which can either be participating in a race, as we've seen that you can actually drive these vehicles, or it's actually blocking the road so that the race can start. If that's the case, it means these races, these possibly death races, are planned and scheduled within the world of Cyberpunk and possibly even used as entertainment. And what further makes me think that these roads are being blocked is that the clip the very second later does give a close-up of 2 NCPD cars and also 2 NCPD officers blocking the road with a car behind it. And I'm sure that these are both from the exact same moment, because it does look like it has the exact same background with the neon lights above. So personally, I think that these NCPD officers are actually blocking the road so that the race can start. And it's not actually something where halfway through a race, because we're breaking speed limits, because people are dying, that the NCPD are going to get involved. We have to remember that within the Cyberpunk universe, mega corporations control everything. And I don't think it's too crazy to believe that some of the media corporations would have set all of this up in motion for people to participate within the race, for these to be death races, and then for this to be televised, even though it does include people dying. Mega corporations have done much crazier and worse stuff since they've been in power. We do see in the 2077 In Style trailer that Cyberpunk also released that chat shows and even news shows do show clips of people dying. So whereas it's against the law in our world for people to show real deaths on TV, that's not the case within the Cyberpunk universe. So personally, I don't think it's too far-fetched to have death races and actually have them as entertainment. Let me know what you guys think though in the comment section down below. With the classes that we mentioned earlier, I would also assume that you can select vehicles from either class, or there will be a class-specific race. There seems to be race footage in the trailer for executive, sport, and also hyperclasses, so I'm also hoping that you can also race within economy as well as heavy duty. I think heavy duty races could actually play out to be some very entertaining races. But anyway, this is what we know so far, as well as a little bit of speculation around races. It seems for a game that isn't actually specifically a racing game, CD Projekt Red have put in a lot of effort into these vehicles, and it's something that I just can't wait to be a part of. When this game does come out, I will be streaming it daily, and I think a lot of my time, once I do figure out how to do it, and hopefully once I do get a very good vehicle, I will be going into a lot of these races. This is definitely something that suits what I would like to do within the game. But anyway, if you do want to talk a bit more in depth about racing within Cyberpunk, there is links to absolutely everything in the description down below, including Twitch, Discord, Instagram, and also Twitter. But anyway guys, I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did enjoy, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. But for now, I'm going to see you.